All right. Bryce, what's up with you?
Um, a handful of stuff. I've been still making some progress on the appeals affidavit supplement, or actually, that's not even specifically appeals anymore, but it is what we need to get the appeals. Yeah, so I've been making some progress on the affidavit supplement. Um, it's it's going. Also, did a bunch of stuff for the Illinois form. It also met with the clerks yesterday in Tazewell County. Um, and it generally seemed like it was good. They had a few notes on, oh, if you're doing this particular thing, you need to send an optional service, which may or may not open another rabbit hole of every county trying to do. It's a filing an appearance, and if you want a jury trial, it's like it seems like different counties will have several different ways of doing that exact same thing. Of like you either send in an optional service, or you make a completely different filing with that right filing code. Um, Hopefully, it's not more than that, and there aren't like five different ways of doing the exact same thing. Um, but either way, we've at least set a date that we think we want to go live. It's October 3rd, I think. Um, and so yeah, a month and a half out, a bit more than I thought, but I think it's probably good. Just to make sure we have finish all the things on, and I'll have tried to finish all of the extra features and like language fixes that we want much well before then, and I'm I'm hopefully banking on the fact that I'll finish that early, and then um, we'll be like, oh, there's no reason to wait an extra 2 or 3 weeks. Let's just go live next week or something like that. So
Although maybe they like that because they want to like do some other stuff. But you know who will be happy about that? Paul, because it's a date that they can beat.
true,
So
yeah,
so we'll have to tell them like, here's a date. If you want it before that, you could. If you want to be first.
yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's about all I have
All right,
for
that's
progress on things.
good amount of stuff.
Yep.
Quentin.
All right, sorry for any background noise.
I love
Yeah,
how
I've
there's a
just been
siren
working-
just when you turn on the phone.
I know, it was just fading away, so I thought I'd risk it. Yeah, so working on some Weaver refactors, which we've been using. I think are good.
And a lot of wind. If you could shelter your mic.
Yeah, I'll try moving out. So
Much better.
the big Weaver change is that we're using a template to generate the output of the Weaver instead of basically there was a bunch of code that was much harder to edit and update or customize. So that means that now, in addition to like customizing the brand package that someone might run, they can customize the whole output of the Weaver for different purposes. They can have a list of different kind of template outputs. So that lets people use the Weaver in a lot more flexible ways. Like we're not changing what information we can collect, but at least the output can look really different to the extent that's needed for people. So that means more customization, more flexibility, which will be good. The other change that I did, Matt had some good feedback on the interview list feature that lets people see their own list of interviews that were in progress. And a big one is that we'll be able to have on the progress screen. I went ahead and just tried implementing a feature that was like, oh, that might be complicated or more risky to do than I were expecting. And it turned out to not be too hard, and it seems to be pretty safe so far, is to let people see a custom name of their interview. So when you look at the interview list, it will show the name of the parties that are in the case by default, and a percent of progress, so that when you see the list of interviews, you can see that one's at 100%, this one's at 25%, and so on. So I think those will end up being really helpful features, and I'm going to make them optional. They're not turned on for everybody right away, but once they are ready, should improve the user experience a lot of working and resuming interviews that they've already started and come back to. So like kind of a niche task, but I think our power users advocates, attorneys are the ones who are going to need that feature. So it's going to have a high impact to people who use our forms a lot.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Well, nifty. Progress bars and custom names. I find those exciting because I often go into my what interviews I've started and there's just 100. Yeah, it's a mess. Hayden.
So I am done with the child support worksheet. So it's ready. Yeah, I think all the math is correct. I ran a bunch of tests and I was getting really the same thing. I did notice, I suppose, there was a couple times where the value was about one number different. I don't know why that was happening.
Well, rounding error, I'm guessing, but
I assumed it was a rounding error, but I didn't know where to sort of start figuring out where that rounding error was happening. I worked
make an issue.
Make an issue. Okay. Yeah, that's really the final remaining issue I can think of. So yeah.
Well, very cool.
Did you work with Kristen on the language at all?
I did. Yeah, we met on Friday right afterwards, and I've spoke with her, I think, Wednesday this week a little bit.
Okay.
And I did a draft of the next steps thing, and I sent it to her. That draft is not on the GitHub, or it's not attached to anything yet. But so she has my draft. I don't know what she's going to change.
Yeah.
But.
She sounded like she wanted to do it herself. I mean, I'm happy to help her with it, but just given some of the language she used in the conversation, I think they could benefit from a little bit more, but I don't want to, I think she feels like it's her baby at this point. So I don't want to, insert myself.
I think Hayden had a 3-hour talk afterwards.
Yeah, she had a lot of input. And I think she's got a lot more as it's been changed a little bit. But I mean, if you want to, put your eyes on it, please do,
Okay.
So I think what we want to
do a different,
yeah.
I can do a different branch, and then she can pick and choose. If she likes it, she can pick it, and then, yeah.
So let's make sure that everything is in main, that you have the issue on the number thing. We'll go ahead, we'll install it on the testing server, and then we'll share that out with her and have her, give it one last pass. And just so folks know, obviously, Hayden starts classes here next week, so we don't expect him to do any more work on this. He's done a great amount of this, but we have negotiated first right of refusal to any updates. So if we get some feedback and it's like, oh, I'd like to change this or that, we'll ask Hayden first if he wants to do it, and we are perfectly fine if he says no.
Yep.
But if he wants to, he can jump in and do that.
Appreciate the opportunity to not put it down yet.
I appreciate the opportunity to do more work. But yes, on your baby.
Stuff. So
yes. So yeah. So just a moment to acknowledge, Hayden, you've done. I mean, I said this last time too, but I think you've done a lot of great work on this, and I'm very happy to see where it is. And I'm also happy for the relationship that we're building with the Court Service Center in relationship to this. So hopefully this will be the first of many such collaborations.
I hope so. Yeah, it seemed to, when I was meeting with Kristen recently, she's very excited, and Vera was very excited, and Caroline, who's the whole manager of the Court Service Center, all about sending you guys more projects. So everyone is thrilled that this was a thing.
Well, that's good, because we always have a hard time picking what our next project should be. So it's nice to have some suggestions. Cool. All right, Caroline.
I'm trying to get back to the sort of nuts and bolts of actually doing DocAssembly. Is it in parenthesis quote, or is it double equal sign? It's making me shoot myself in the head. I'm so frustrated. But other than that, it's going along really well. And I've got a sort of a hint of something that's exciting that I don't want to put in a recording, but that's good. And
I love these little
tidbits.
Yeah.
I know something I can't share with you. Yeah, so things are coming. This is sort of for the grant partners, but I'm feeling confident about the embedding into a WordPress site. And I think there are going to be places that they want to do that
Yeah.
rather than linking to. And so I'm hoping that the developer I talked to yesterday morning, I'm hoping that we can actually document it, because some of this I understand conceptually, but I really have no idea how you set up a reverse proxy call in WordPress to a DocAssembly server. I'm like, what? I get it, but so what do you do, But that's what it looks like I think that's what
Okay.
we're doing. So.
All right. Well, cool. I'm glad there's making some progress there. Question: have you been have you heard word of anything relating to the Stanford Fair filing project stuff in relationship to Alaska?
I did. That was about a month ago. But I think it was more informational.
Yeah.
I don't think it's progressed as far as I know.
Because I know they're doing stuff, and we're not working directly with them, and that we're not like on a grant together or anything. But
Yeah.
I have a sense that a lot of their some of their partners will be using the technology that we build. So if it was the type of thing that it's probably the type of thing that a DocAssembly would be a good thing to do with. So when you get to the stage of like, it's maybe another conversation, a further conversation we should have.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to flag that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sort of keeping an ear out for it. But various family matters. It's very cool up here because Alaska really the culture is work-life balance, and life is getting in the way of not just my work at the minute.
Well, that we can all talk about in a moment after we stop recording and move to Casual Friday. Very excited to hear more about that. All right. And I worked on some stuff for the Form Explorer. So now you can do a search on stuff. So if you want to see that, you can go to the Form Explorer page. And then I've been prepping for classes mostly, so not much to put there. I'm trying to memorize people's names now with their faces.
Quentin
right.
also did he did a Forms Camp this week presentation.
Oh yeah,
which
he
was
did.
Really good. It was really good.
Yeah, we got some nice follow-up from that, or at least I saw some nice follow-up that Quentin got. He might have also got not nice follow-up, but I saw a nice follow-up. All right, well, in that case then,